Hello, fight fans, and welcome to the Combat Challenge podcast. My guest is a lightweight MMA athlete with 22 professional fights to his name. He's signed to the prestigious Cagewarriors promotion and trains out of Four Corners under the guidance of Coach John Dillers. Mr. Jack Skinny Power Grant. Jack, nice to see you, my brother.
How we doing, man? Great introduction. Yeah, let's go.
Well, I'm pleased you like that introduction. I should be an MC, shouldn't I, brother?
I thought it was Bruce Buffer.
Jack, thank you, man. I'm really grateful that you took time out, because obviously you're training all week and, you know, your weekends are your own, but you took time out. So I'm really grateful for that, brother. Thank you so much.
Oh, no, thank you, man. I appreciate your time.
Cool. Jack, the first thing I've got to ask you, brother, the Skinny Power. Where did that fight name come from, if you can share that with us, please?
Yeah, so I started boxing when I was 11-year-old out of a local gym under Stuart Fleet. And funnily enough, I've got the first bag that I ever hit. Like they put me in the corner and I was on this wall bag and I was cracking this wall bag, and one of the lads was like, "Oh, he hits hard for a young kid." And then he was like, "Go get changed." And as I was getting changed, pulled my top off. You see abs on like a little kid, a little veiny kid. And there was like, fucking hell, Skinny Power. it just stuck, you know.
So from such a young age, brother, that fight name's been with you?
Yeah. So I was just like, I mean, my mum always said I was a bit of a freak, like, but she was just basically would like, it was like I belonged in a tree. Do you know what I mean? I was just always climbing trees. I was super lean for a kid. And yeah, like the adults at the boxing gym just thought it was like I was like a little alien, you know. So that's where it came from. So not like a big story about it, but yeah, that's just how it sort of came about.
Oh, so it wasn't even anything to do with MMA. It was actually boxing.
Yeah, just boxing. Just an 11-year-old kid and super lean, super skinny, and that was it. It was just everyone was like bewildered that I had abs and vascular, just jacked for a little 11-year-old. I was.
Well, brother, nothing's changed yet, has it, my friend?
No. Good genetics down in Grimsby.
Thanks for sharing that with us, brother Jack. Now, your mixed martial arts journey, if you can share that with us from a young age, what sort of sporting disciplines you got into that has led you to where you are now?
Yeah, so I started out boxing with Stuart Fleet, and he kind of like paved the way for me, if you like, gave me the motivation and gave me the discipline I needed to chase anything up to do with fighting, and just never looked back. I ended up finding an MMA gym and I was just obsessed straight away. And before you know it, I was on like a 13 fight win streak at amateur. So, and it was just, just never looked back.
And how young were you when you started this MMA gym, and which gym was it and who was coaching you there?
So I was 17. It was just a little local MMA gym. I was just kind of fluctuating around, and he don't really like me now, so I'm not mentioning him. But, you know, I just had to do what I had to do. I had to move on. I wasn't getting the training that I needed to, you know, to reach my potential. And, yeah, we just had to part our ways, and it's just got better ever since.
And once you left that gym, where did you go next?
So I actually went to AVT then, which worked out amazing for me. Obviously, Danny Mitchell, one of the best in the country, and an absolute anorak on fighting, like knows everything, you know. So, yeah, training down there with those guys and enjoying it. And, yeah, still like Danny, still got, you know, good friends in that gym as well. So, yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, Danny Mitchell, I did a podcast with him and we released that 2 days ago. He's a funny guy, you know, he can tell a story.
He's crackers, isn't he? In a good way, though. They're all crackers in this game.
He's just hilarious, man. And the crazy thing is, I actually watched him on Bargain Hunt. You know?
Yeah, he won it, didn't he? No, I always mention this.
That's just madness, man. But yeah, he's focused more on, obviously he's got the AVT side, and he's got Jason Furness who's doing stuff there now. But also, he's starting this new thing, I don't know if you know about it, it's called Iron Fighter. Have you heard of it yet?
Yeah, I've seen him putting it on the internet, and I've seen that all of a sudden, you know, he's just absolutely hammering the long distance stuff. And yeah, to be fair, he's a really clever guy. Whatever he puts his mind to, he could do. So he's just one of those people.
And you know, one of the craziest thing is, right, that brother has never worked for anyone ever. How mad is that?
He's crackers, isn't he? Yeah, no, I could sit with Danny for hours. Like, I've never known anyone have so many stories. Do you know what I mean? He's a crazy guy.
Well, I've got a history with Danny. I've known him for many years. And when he said he'd come on the podcast, I got all my camera and everything together. I went to the gym and set it all up because he's such a funny guy. I needed to sit with him. You know, it was just madness.
Yeah.
The only thing is, he needs to pay his bloody bills because he was freezing in that gym. Oh, I was shaking.
I know we have had a cold one, haven't we? So them big gyms, I don't really feel there's a lot you could do for it. You know what I mean? You just gotta.
Yeah.
When it's hot, it's hot, and when it's cold. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they've got really high tinny ceilings and those perspex windows, and it's just like you said. In summer, it's like a sauna, but in winter, it's freezing, man.
Oh, in summer, that place is amazing. Like, you know what I mean? Brilliant. I love training in the heat. Obviously, all the niggles and stuff go away a little bit then, and you can really get stuck into your training.
Your last fight, my brother, was on Cagewarriors 119, and that was for the vacant lightweight title, and it was a five-minute rounds against Aggie Sardari. Can you tell us what you knew about Aggie? What was your preparation? And then talk us through the fight and then the end result.
Well, so like basically what it was just I was just saying the Cagewarriors are what a big name. A lot of the big names that they try and make out like they haven't been asked, like Paddy Pimblett and others, but they have, and you know, nothing ever seems to happen. I was asking for like Donovan Desmay, Paddy Pimblett, all these guys, and then they was throwing guys at me that are like 4-0 and things like this. You know what I mean? I've had 22 fights. I want to fight big names. That's what I'm in it for. I want to fight the best. And then they got me this Aggie guy, so I had a little look. Couldn't find a great deal on him. So I just got stuck into my training. It was like 5 weeks of training. And new gym, 5 weeks of training. Felt like I made some really good progression in that camp as well, like actually learning in a camp, which you don't often do, to be honest. Sometimes you just sharpen your skills, but I feel like I actually gained some skills in that camp, and hence why I'm still there now, and learning, getting better. Going into the fight though, obviously the part everyone wants to know about, like I truly believe I was 3 rounds up. The game plan didn't work out as effective as I felt it would, as my team felt it would. In previous fights, he'd like rush in, but every time I threw the jab, he'd like go like sort of 2 steps back, 3 steps back. So I was never really, you know, too able to get like any kind of volume going, you know. So if it was like a 1, 2, 3 kind of shot, he was just out of range straight away, and then he'd just dash in with like a big overhand or a body kick, and a bit of a frustrating fight. Looking back on it, I wish I could, you know, have my time again, and I believe I'd finish him, you know, but it is what it is. Feel I was 3 rounds up, but the judges thought different, and we go again. We go up a weight.
Well, the thing is, brother, it wasn't a majority decision. It was actually a split decision. So in fairness, it could have gone either way, right?
Yeah. And then I felt like I was trying to finish the fight throughout. Even like in his good rounds where I messed up with some positions and stayed in the position a little bit too long because I was tired. I then like turned it around. I went for like a decent omoplata, some heel hooks where I transitioned from one leg to the other. Like I was the one looking to win and finish the fight. Like he'd get double unders, stick his forehead in and just pressure me and hold me against the cage, but never really peeling off to throw shots, never looking to take me down. It was like he was just letting the time tick away, and that's not my way of fighting, you know. I'd love to go again with that guy.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, it's interesting with judges because they will have their own like unconscious bias. For example, a judge might have been in the striking discipline for many years and then got into MMA, and then he or she, you know, was qualified to go and judge. But to them, when somebody strikes, might trigger a bit more in the mind than what it does if they clinch. So it depends, right?
Yeah. So he was like clinching away with me and whatnot. I was looking to box, to be honest. My game plan was to stand with him, which I was doing. I felt like I had some good success. Felt like I was good on my feet, moving. But yeah, it's just one of those, isn't it? It's hard to sort of get the words out you want about it. Like it just didn't happen for me that night, and I'll be back. Like I believe I could beat him. You know, in my eyes, I'm a world champion. Like every time I look in the mirror, I look at myself and I'm happy with what I see, and I am a world champion. Like regardless, win, lose, draw, I get up every day and I go back grinding, getting better. You know what I mean? I'm not one of these guys where I take a loss and just cry about it. Like, you know, I'll have my time to myself and then I'm straight back in the gym.
And talking about the gym, brother, just talk me through about Four Corners, what it's all about, what sort of coaches are there, and what do they cover under that one roof?
Yeah, so at Four Corners, phenomenal striking coach in John. He's got Eric De Silva down doing the wrestling and jiu-jitsu. That was like the only part of the fight game where he didn't want to like start showing that stuff. But yeah, you know, I've got one of the best striking coaches, one of the best probably in the world. Do you know what I mean now? So it's you're definitely going to see a lot more stand up from me. But yeah, all round as a team, we've got not so much the biggest mat at the minute, but it's small numbers, but it's very strong. And my sparring clicks, you know, gives me great confidence in my preparation. But yeah, that's it, Four Corners, and that's where I'll be representing from now.
And so do you stay there during the week and then you come home for the weekend? Is that normally the plan?
Yeah, so I just pop home on weekends. I always have a few bits to do around here. Like, you know, I've got animals as well, so it's like got to pop and make sure they're all right. But yeah, we've created our own bubble inside the gym. Obviously, we've got I'm a pro athlete, so I'm allowed to train during this. I'm an exception, and yeah, luckily for me, COVID hasn't really held me back too much. Like I'm able to do everything I want to do. I live inside the gym. I pop home on weekends as and when I need to, and all's going good. You know, every day I'm getting better.
Now, brother, along your martial arts journey, you would have had loads of coaches and mentors. Is there any coaches or mentors that have played a significant role within that journey that you could share with us?
Yeah, absolutely. Stuart Fleet. So I started out boxing where I got the name Skinny Power. Yeah, one of the most inspirational guys I've ever come across in my life. And he's not money orientated at all. Like the only thing he cares about is seeing me be the best version of me. And you know, I sensed it straight away. And I just remain in touch with him always. He always sends me like a pre-fight like video of him just talking and you know, walking through the fight with me before I've had it. Things like that, you know, like he's just, regardless to whether it's just to talk about fighting or to set my mind off fighting, he's always there for me. And yeah, it's been one of the biggest parts of my career for sure.
Now, my friend, if you could turn back the hands of time, brother, and looking at all the fights that you've had, is there any, with hindsight, you could change, or anything that you weren't too happy about that if you could go back in time, you'd change?
Yeah, like for me, and if I was to ever advise any young athlete, I mean, I've got my own gym locally, but if I had a young athlete, I would like never ever hold them back. And I'd tell them, you know, and I'd point them in the right direction where to go, and I'd want to stay on the journey, which unfortunately for me, I never had. And I hung around the gym like sticking to that loyalty thing all the time, but it was never really loyal in return. And I believe if I'd have left that gym a long time ago, I'd have been a lot further on in my career. So, you know, yeah, don't be like, when it comes to a career, don't be afraid to move where you feel you need to move. Like, you're your own person. The fight business is an individual business, and do not be scared to move on. Sure, you know, and nobody should hate you for that either. You know what I mean? Just do what's best for you and what feels right for you. And as long as you're honest, no one can ever slag you off for that.
Well, the way I look at it, brother, is with gyms. So gyms provide a service. It's like, I don't know, broadband. You have different companies that provide broadband. Some packages work for you and some don't. So whilst they work, you subscribe to it. If things change, you then move on to a different package. If they can't provide it, then you go on to a different service provider. That'd be similar to gyms, right?
Yeah, for sure. That's actually one of the biggest things that I learned from Danny Mitchell from the off was he was one of the first ever coaches I ever heard say that. Like he said to me, he was like, all I provide is service. If you don't want that service anymore, then and you go away and then you decide you want it again, as long as you like are honest, sort of thing, he's got no issues with it whatsoever. And I just straight away, I just thought, you know what? When I go full time into a gym one day, which I most likely will end up training my own team, that's the way I'll approach it. I'll just let people do what they want to do. And yeah, it's just a service, you know. You don't own that person, you're just a service. And it, like, real good outlook on it, as Danny.
Well, that was a good example from me, wasn't it?
Yeah, brilliant that. Yeah, no, it's brilliant. But yeah, that's where I heard it. It reminded me straight away of that. And I just thought, you know, I can remember at the time thinking, if I ever run my own gym, that's my approach for sure.
Well, if you do have a gym, brother, forget about Danny. Just mention me. Say, I was on a podcast and there's a guy called Safe Khan who mentioned it. Out of all the fights you've had, is there any of those fights that have been quite rewarding for you? And do you think you're at a stage where you could talk about such a fight, or is that still to come in your eyes?
Yeah, for sure. Like I've definitely had rewarding fights, and you know, I'll name a couple, but equally, I still don't feel like I've had my best performance yet. You know what I mean? That might be like a proper later on thing in my career where I sit back and have to really think about each fight. But I'd say my debut on Cagewarriors was pretty special for me. I didn't really even think I was going to make the fight. I had staph quite bad in my leg. And I went against Perry Goodwin, and I knew he was a good striker. And I was really nervous for this because, like, I was thinking, oh, I'm gonna have to keep up with him. You know, he's got good fitness, and I like pulled through it, and I got the first round finish. I wasn't able to train. I was in hospital for 5 days, and things like this. You know, like, but this is like an outside view that people have never really seen about me, or like you just don't know what goes beyond what you see. Do you know what I mean? As a fan, and yeah, definitely that was rewarding for me. You know, that I was actually somehow able to get in there, feel 100% and perform, because I didn't think I was going to be able to.
And how did you end up winning that fight?
I ended up finishing with some knees to the head off the clinch, off like a get up. I hit him with a good front kick that winded him. And then it went to sort of a little bit of a grappling exchange. I flew in a knee and stuff, and it just went from there. And then I got the finish, the KO finish.
Yeah, Perry, I know him quite well. Perry the Predator Goodwin. Did he have his muchacho with him?
He did. No, in fact, no, I had it. I actually had a curly mustache, but not as good as Perry's. Mine was crap. So, mate, my face there is not good. Like, so neither's my head here. So.
Oh man! Well, thanks for sharing that with us, brother. Now, you've been on this martial arts journey for such a long time, and you're in a fortunate position, Jack, that you're fighting on a premiership level on a great show like Cagewarriors. If there's other athletes who are fighting amateur, but they're wanting to take that leap professionally, from your knowledge and experience, what would you like to cascade down to them?
Yeah, so like, one, don't rush. Two, also don't rush for like to go straight away with like a manager or like that. Just stay patient, learn the game as an amateur, and then start to make your decisions. You know, like I didn't even get managed till later on in my pro career, which, you know, I don't regret. But equally, working with Carl Messon has been one of the best things for me at the same time. But if you know, if I wasn't so patient, I probably would have gone with someone else who maybe wouldn't have been so good for me. You know, so yeah, just be really patient, fight regular as an amateur, and when you turn pro as well, don't think you've had loads of amateur fights and just rush. Just take your time, try remain active, and Yeah, don't take time out of the gym either. Don't get fat like me.
Brother, you mentioned Carl Messin. Let me tell you a little fact about Carl Messin. Did you know when he trained MMA, right, he was my student and I taught him his MMA and also all his fights he had was under me, brother.
Yeah. I love Carl. He's good, isn't he? He's a good guy. He's a top guy. And yeah, he works hard, you know, like whatever he does, he grafts. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah, for sure.
If I could steal anyone's work ethic, it'd be Carl's. Like when I'm hanging out with Carl, when we're at fights and stuff, he's always on the phone. You know what I mean? He's always doing something for, you know, for someone.
Well, when he first started training with us, yeah, and he's a big unit in it, brother, and he used to train with us, and he'd have like these blonde streaked hair, and he was all tanned, and I'm thinking, I hope this brother ain't getting some sort of designs, you know, whilst he's rolling with me, you know. But
yeah, I can remember Carl like being on the scene. Yeah, I was fighting around the same time as well, like similar shows. So, but yeah, it's a small world, but
it is.
Yeah, he's amazing.
He's a really cool guy. I still work closely with Carl. There's loads of people that he puts forward to me, you know, to come on the podcast. And I've known Carl for years, and he's such a cool guy, man. I have a lot of time for him. So is that under heavy duty management that you're under?
Yes, I'm under the heavy duty management. Yeah.
Yeah, because he's got spin-off stuff. He does like proteins and other sort of supplements to do with heavy duty, doesn't he?
I know, yeah, he needs to send me loads of it. More the better.
Really, you're all right with that skinny power. Jack, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and experience with us. And I look forward to having you on another podcast, hopefully 3 months from now, my friend.
Yeah, definitely. No, I've really enjoyed being on. And yeah, it's always good, you know. It's always good. I appreciate your time.